Geeks and Gamers, Matt Lemke here with 3 Gamer Goggles, and today we're at the Arcane Wonders booth in Origins, or that's twice today. Gen Con 2014. Yesterday it was Gen Con 2015. I'm going back in time.
Nice, I like it, I like it.
Twice!
It's alright, leave it in there, I like it, it's good.
I am leaving it in there, because I'm dumb. And we're going to chat a little bit about Sheriff of Nottingham and then do a game preview, overview of the game.
Yep.
Go ahead, Scott.
Alright, so I'm Scott Morris, I'm Vice President of Business Development here at Arcane Wonders. This is our new game, Sheriff of Nottingham. It is brand new in a line of games called the Dice Tower Essentials. These are games that we partner with Tom Vassell at the Dice Tower that he has said he loves. They are essential to any gamer's collection, and we agree, and we're producing them. So this is actually a game that was originally called Heart the Grens, very, very small printing of, then changed to a game called Robin Hood in Brazil, which is where we discovered it, from Sergio Halban and Andre Zas. We took the game, we loved it, we signed it, and then we did a little bit of development work and have brought it out as Sheriff of Nottingham. Now the premise of the game is really simple. The Honorable Prince John is coming to Nottingham, and the players are all merchants looking to make a quick buck by bringing their goods into the city. However, the only way they get into the city is through the front gate, and who's at the front gate but the Sheriff of Nottingham. Every turn you're going to have goods represented by the cards in your hand, and there are some goods that have a green border that are legal goods. There's some goods that have a red border that are contraband goods. You're going to have a draw and discard phase. You're then going to give that draw and discard phase gives the sheriff some information about what's on the board. You're then going to actually put cards into one of these snap bags. They actually have a snap closure on them. There's a good reason for that. Once you put cards in your bag, you then have to declare to the sheriff what you're bringing into the city. You have to be truthful about the number of cards, and you must pick one of the 4 legal goods. The 4 legal goods are apples, chickens, cheese, and bread. You're not allowed to say I have 4 cards and 2 cheese and 2 bread, or 4 cards and 2 apples and 2 chickens. You have to pick one legal good. What you actually put in your bag is completely up to you, and what you actually lie about is completely up to you. Now you could be very honest and you could tell the truth. So for example, I have this as a starting hand of 5 cards, it should be 6. I have this as a starting hand of 6 cards. So I could use my 2 cheese and try and get a better hand. Now I could keep the 2 cheese in my hand. I would show the sheriff that I'm going to discard these 4 cards. So he knows I'm discarding the 2 apples, I'm discarding a contraband, and I'm discarding the chicken. So I put those off to the side face up. I can then choose to draw from either of the 2 discard piles, which are seated at the beginning of the game, or from the top of the deck. Now in this case I'm trying to get more cheese, so I definitely want to get the cheese that is on top of this discard pile. So I now have 4 cheese in my hand, but the sheriff only knows that I've taken 2. I would then take the other 2 cards from the top of the deck, and I end up with a ton of cheese. Now, when you're actually putting cards in your bag, you have to put a minimum of 2, but a maximum of 5. I have 6 cheese, which is pretty ridiculously amazing. I'm going to take all 5 and put them into my bag. I open up the snap closure, I put them in there, and all this is done in secret. The sheriff doesn't know anything about this. Then in turn order, players must look the sheriff in the eye, which amazingly is the hardest thing in the game to do, because then you're going to tell him what's in your bag. Now if you're being truthful, you're pretty good. I'm just going to look at the sheriff and I'm going to say I have 5 cheese, and everyone else is going to go around and do that. So I may say 5 cheese, my opponent may say 3 apples, another person may say 4 chickens, and the sheriff's already seen all these players go through that draw and discard phase. He's got a little bit of information about what's happening. From here, it's full-on negotiation. Anything can happen. I could sit there and say, you know what, Sheriff, you don't even want to worry about my bag, just let me go through. Another player could jump in and say, hey, I just met that guy, I don't trust him at all. I'm going to pay you 5 gold if you look in his bag and don't look in mine. Somebody else could say, hey, on a previous turn, I got this chicken into the city. I'm going to give you a chicken and 5 gold if you let me through and check both their bags. So any kind of negotiation is open. You can do any kind of freeform stuff like that. The deals are binding in the current turn, which means that if somebody says, let me through as you're the sheriff and I'll let you through in a future round, they don't have to buy by that. They could backstab you and you're going to have to like really trust that person and hope that works out. But after the sheriff has made his determinations on who he thinks is telling the truth and who he doesn't, he's going to potentially look in people's bags. Let's say he said, dude, it's the beginning of the game, there's no way you got 5 cheese, there's just no way. and he says, I think you're lying, and he's about to snap my sack. I could try and bluff him out and say, no, I'll give you 2 gold, or I'll give you 3 gold, don't do that. But in my case, I know I'm telling the truth, so I want him to open my bag. So he opens the bag, and the moment that you hear that snap, the moment you hear that, it's a point of no return. Sheriff can't stop, he is looking in the bag for sure. So he would pull this out and he would look and he would see in fact that I have my 5 cheese and I'm telling the truth. Now since he's falsely accused me, he has to pay me a penalty for each of those cards. So that would be 10 gold that he has to give me of his money. In addition to that, since I was telling the truth, I get them all into the city, and they're all worth 3 gold at the end of the game. So I've made 25 gold just in that one turn by telling the truth, and being honest, and getting my cheese into the city. More importantly, I got 5 cheese into the city. At the end of the game, you'll see on the player boards that there is a gold and a silver bonus. So for this one example, if I have the most apples, I get 20 gold at the end of the game. If I have the second most apples, I get 10 gold at the end of the game. So it's a king's bonus and a queen's bonus. For me, with the cheese, I would have 5 cheese already and be in lead for that. So I'm well on track to get 15 gold at the end of the game in addition to that. Now let's say for whatever reason that I actually had contraband in my hand. So we were talking before about some of the red cards, these contraband cards. These are silk or pepper or crossbows and things like that. Let's say I didn't have 4 cheese or 5 cheese. Let's say I had 4 cheese and the contraband, but I put them in there and I declared to the sheriff that I had 5 cheese because again, I have to be legal about the number of cards and I can only pick one legal good to declare. Let's say I couldn't negotiate with him and I couldn't stop him and he was still going to look in my bag. If he does and he opens this up, whatever I'm telling the truth about, I get. So the 4 cheese I would get. But because I was lying and I had a contraband and a pepper in there, I would owe the sheriff the penalty on this card. So I would actually pay the sheriff the 4 gold in that case because I got caught red-handed and caught lying. So this would be discarded and I would still get my 4 cheese in. There is a little bit of give and take and ebb and flow in that case where you may want to try and sneak some contraband in with legal goods. Be honest about the legal goods, and if you get caught, you get caught, or you could try and bribe and negotiate your way past to not get caught. And here's why. Let's say I had those 5 cards in my bag and I said I had 5 cheese. This is worth 6 gold to me at the end of the game for that contraband if I get it through. Let's say maybe the sheriff's questioning me and I said, Sheriff, I'll give you 3 gold if you let me go through. And he says, all right, I will take that deal. I'll take your 3 gold, you can go through. I get this through and the contraband goes face down in front of my player board and all of the legal goods go in their spot. The sheriff immediately knows I was lying to him and can't trust me later in the game, but more importantly, I spent 3 gold to get 6 points at the end of the game and I've made out on a profit for myself. As you can tell, there's going to be a lot of bluffing, a lot of negotiation, a lot of cajoling. As the game goes on, more and more information is available to the people that play the sheriff, and every turn the sheriff rotates. So while I may be the sheriff one turn, Matt may be the sheriff the next turn, and it keeps rotating around. Once everyone's been the sheriff twice, that's the end of the game. You count up how much money you have on your legal goods in the top corner, you count up all the money on your contraband cards, and then you count up your bonus money, and whoever has the most wins the game, and they become the king of Nottingham.
Wow.
Maybe not the king of Nottingham, though, because that's actually King Richard, so he might have a problem with that. But you win the game.
You win the game. A lot of strategy.
Lots of strategy, lots of bluffing, a lot of negotiation, a little bit of a social game, of course, because you're engaging with all the other players, and a lot of laughter and a lot of fun. We've been demoing here in a booth. We've had 2 different tables going. We're about to have a 3rd. We've had 2 over in the demo hall. We've actually sold out of the entire product here at Gen Con, which has been phenomenal. It's only Saturday morning as we're filming this right now. So it's really, really exciting to see that happen. It is still available for pre-order right now. If you pre-order on Arcane Wonders website, or if you pre-order with your friendly local game store, as long as orders have been placed by August 30th through them, you're going to get a promo card as well. It's a Royal Summons promo card. It's really fun. It adds a lot more excitement to the game as well.
Excellent.
Yep.
So what about the future of, well, the other games, like Mage Wars.
Sure. So Mage Wars is growing. One of the things we want everyone to know is that Mage Wars is definitely going to still be the foundation game for Arcane Wonders. Right now we're working on a set called Mage Wars Battlegrounds, which is going to be a modular board. You're going to have 8x8 puzzle cut tiles that you can piece together in any formation you want. It's going to be 16 tiles in the game, so if you want to make a big 4x4 player board for 4 players or 2 versus 2, you could do that. If you want to make a T or an L or an abstract or a crazy long corridor, you could do that too. So it gives you a little more freedom of expression in how you want to play the game. The other nice thing is it's going to come with a scenario called Domination, which we've actually been demoing here with some people, where instead of just having the object of going in and killing your opponent, you can actually go in and try and achieve objective points by controlling certain zones on the map. And if you do that at the end of the turn, you get points, and if you get to a certain number of points, then you can win the game that way as well. We're really excited about that one. We're looking for that around November timeframe this year.
Oh wow, that's soon.
It is soon. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, that's soon. Just in time for Christmas.
Hopefully, yes.
What about the next spell tome? Can you talk about that yet, or is it too early?
It's probably a little too early. The next one most people know that we're working on, though, is actually an expansion for Paladin versus Siren. We're working very diligently to get one out. We know that our fans want that one, but the Siren, as most people can imagine, is a very tricky mage, so we're doing our best to make sure it's as balanced and well put together as possible. It's exciting, though, because the Paladin is what everybody expects. It's sword and board, deal and heal. I don't care what gamer you talk to, video gamer, role player, board gamer, you say the word Paladin, they know what they expect. The Siren is totally different though, a little bit of mind, a little bit of water, and a whole lot of chaos. Her Kraken is a lot of fun, and I'll leave it at that, but there's some really cool stuff coming in that set. That is yet to be determined on a date, but it's going to be as soon as possible as we can get it together.
And what's the next Dice Towers Essential game?
The next Dice Tower Essential game actually just got signed here at Gen Con. I'm really excited about this one. So Chris Leader, who is the designer for Roll For It from Calliope Games, very successful pocket game, we signed a design of his called City of Gears, which is a very light steampunk theme, and it's a Euro game that can actually play in about 30 to 45 minutes. Really excited about it. It's a very colorful game. It's a very fun and engaging game. You're going to play an entrepreneur trying to rediscover this lost city of Gears by sending your automatons out to discover different platforms, gain bonuses by controlling those platforms, and gain victory points through those abilities. Whoever has the most victory points at the end is going to win the game. But really excited about that one. We literally just signed that Wednesday here at Gen Con. So.
Did we miss anything?
Just time to sleep, I think, at this point.
Amen.
Convention's been crazy, but it's been really good. So.
Thanks, Scott.
Awesome. Thank you,
I
man.
look forward to
Appreciate it, guys.
seeing you, I don't know when, but soon.
Whatever the next con is next weekend, yep.
Talk to you later.
Thank you.